is very very important in any design phase. So whenever a design engineer uh, apply design phases, then optimization is one of the important topic. And today we are going to see some of the basics of optimization. So first we'll see what is optimization. So design optimization is one of the important phases in the design of a product. So we are aware of the product life cycle. So in the product life cycle starts with an idea or recognition of a need. Then after recognition of a need, we make a rough sketch or schematic sketch of an idea. Then we make its 2D drawing. Then we make its say 3D model. Then we analyze it. Then we do the production planning. Then we manufacture it. And after manufacturing, we put that product into the test. But during the analysis phase, we may come to know that the size of the component or the dimensions of the component is oversized. So that time that component needs optimization so that the man, material, and machine time can be reduced, and the cost of the product needs to be reduced. Okay, so optimization that way is very very important. Generally the design of a part is tested by conventional design theories. For example, a part is to be tested for maximum stress induced in a part. It is found that stresses are well below the ultimate stress of the material. So generally during the analysis phase, we check whether the induced stresses are less than the ultimate strength of the material or not. If it is found that the, the stress induced in the material is less than ultimate stress of the material, then we can say that the material is safe. Now, once the material is safe, then we can go for uh, some other optimization. For example, if we are our objective is to optimize it for the least cost, or we can optimize it for the least weight, we can optimize it for the least deflection, etc., etc. Okay, so once the material is safe or once the material is over designed, then we can go for the optimization. In day-to-day life, you can see that nano car, when the nano car was in design phase, so the designers of the nano car have used a lot of optimization. They have optimized everything right from the transmission components to the aesthetic components. So uh, every component were optimized, and that is why the designers were able to bring the cost of the nano car to such a meager level. So that is an example of optimization. If I would like to give another example, then for example, you are sitting at your home and you want to go to Birdie. So from home to Birdie there may be 3 4 तीन चार रास्ते हो सकते हैं. But if your optimization parameter is time, then you may take one road. If your optimization parameter is to reduce the like mileage or reduce the petrol of the vehicle, then you may take another road. If you want a signal free road, then you may take a third road. So depending upon the objective, your optimized way of going to Birdie may be different. So this is how the optimization works. Depending upon your objective parameter, you need to optimize the component. So optimization is a very very analytical approach, and the optimization technique that is that is there in the syllabus is called Johnson optimization. So there are a lot of optimization techniques. You might have learned optimization techniques in 6 semester course operation research also. But this particular optimization technique which is there in the syllabus is Johnson optimization technique. And this particular optimization technique is developed by R.C. Johnson. So the optimization technique that we are going to learn in today's lecture, or which is there in the syllabus, is Johnson optimization technique. And the book available on this particular optimization technique is only one, and that itself is written by Mr. R.C. Johnson. So it is a quite old book. You will rarely find that book in any of the bookstores. It is only available in some of the very, very old libraries, such as in VNIT library, the book is available, because the last edition of the book came in the year 1982. So it's been 40 years since no revised edition of the book has come. So it is a very, very rare book. Okay. So you hardly find any book on Johnson optimization technique. Okay. Now we'll see the steps of optimization. So there are total 4 steps, that is initial formulation, final formulation, variation study, and execution of result. So we'll see these steps in very, very detail. So let us begin with the first step, that is initial formulation. And these steps, first we'll see the theory behind the optimization technique, and then we will apply these steps for solving some of the numericals on optimization. So first step is initial formulation. The first step of solving an optimization problem is initial formulation. In initial formulation, the design equation related to design of a part are taken into consideration. Okay. So whenever a problem given to you about the optimization, then the initial formulation is the first step. You need to write down the various design equations of the component which is to be optimized. And what are those equations? Those equations are 3, that is primary design equation, subsidiary design equation, and limiting equation. So these are the 3 equations or 3 design equations that you need to define in the initial formulation. And what are those? These are primary design equation. It is also called as PDE. In the later part of the presentation, I will be using PDE, SDE, LE terms. So you make sure that you are aware of PDE, SDE, and LE. So PDE बोला तो primary design equation, SDE is subsidiary design equation, third one is limiting equation. So these are the 3 equations that you need to define in the initial formulation. Now we'll see what is the primary design equation. So we know that in the design phase or in the initial formulation, we are writing the PDE, SDE, and LE. But what is PDE? So that we'll see first. So PDE is primary design equation. It should be primary design equation, not the equations. So there will be only one PDE, not more than one PDE. SDE can be more than one, but PDE will be a single one. Okay. Now let us take an example how the PDE is defined for a simply supported beam. So consider a simply supported beam. Its deflection needs to be optimized. So a task is given to optimize the deflection of a simply supported beam. So what will be the primary design equation for the simply supported beam whose deflection is to be optimized? So the primary design equation for the simply supported beam will be the equation of the deflection. So if you go through the design data book, then in the design data book, the deflection for simply supported beam is given, that is delta equal to WL cube upon 48 EI, where W is what? The weight, L is the length, E stands for the Young's modulus of the material, and I stands for moment of inertia. Okay, so if your objective is to minimize the deflection, then your primary design equation will be delta equal to WL cube upon 48 EI. Now take another example. If your optimizing parameter is to reduce the weight of a component, then what will be your primary design equation? So primary design equation will be W equal to A into L into rho. Okay, so weight का formula क्या है? That is volume multiplied by the density, and volume is nothing but cross sectional area into length, and density is given by rho. So if your objective is to optimize the weight of a component, then your primary design equation will be W equal to A into L into rho. Okay, so A into L becomes the volume, and rho is nothing but kg per unit volume. So that will give you the weight of a component. So in these two example, or from these two example, I think you must have get the idea of what the primary design equation is. Okay, so if your optimizing parameter is deflection, then the deflection equation will be your PDE. If your optimizing parameter is to reduce the weight, then the equation of weight will be your primary design equation. So this is how the primary design equation is defined. Now comes the other two equations, that is subsidiary design equation and limiting equation. Okay, and just I request all the students, if you have any doubt, you just unmute yourself and you can ask the question. Okay, so if you have any doubt, then you can ask the question by unmuting yourself. Okay, now we move on to the other two equations. So out of the three design equation, we have seen the first one, that is primary design equation. The next one is subsidiary design equation, or it is also called as SDE. So what is subsidiary design equation? Subsidiary design equations are all the equations which are essential for designing of a part which is to be taken into consideration. So all the equations which supports the primary design equation are termed as subsidiary design equation. Okay, so all the equations which require support to primary design equation are called subsidiary design equation. Okay, now we'll see while solving the example of optimization, we'll see what are the subsidiary design equations which are in support to the primary design equation. Okay, you just remember this thing, that subsidiary design equations are not entirely different equations. They are just the equations which require in support to the primary design equation. Okay, and the third one is limiting equations. So limiting equations are those equations on which we impose the constraints. Okay, so limiting equations means the equations in which less than or equal to or greater than or equal to symbol comes. So all the equations in which less than or equal to or greater than or equal to symbol comes, those equations are termed as limiting equations. So these are the three design equations you need to define in the initial formulation. So our initial formulation design equation part is over. Now we move on to the second, that is final formulation. So in the final formulation, all the equations considered in initial formulation are merged together to get the primary design equation. So all the subsidiary design equations are merged. Okay. So they are merged together into the primary design equation. The primary design equation can then be solved for various available materials which satisfies the optimization parameter of the design. So all the subsidiary design equations are merged together into the primary design equation, and then we check uh, the different materials for the optimization parameter. So from initial formulation, variables used in optimization are found out, and they are of three types. So in final formulation, all the variables which we are using in the primary design equation, in the subsidiary design equation, in the limiting equation, so all the variables which we use in initial formulation are categorized into 5 categories. Okay. Actually, in the book, there were 3 categories only, but I have added 2 more categories here. So all the variables that we use in primary design equation, in subsidiary design equation, and in limiting equations, they are categorized into 5 categories. And what are those categories? They are functional variables, constraint variables, free variables, optimization variable, and material constants. Okay. So all the variables that we use in PD, SD, and LE, they are categorized into these 5 categories. Okay. So during final formulation, your task is to categorize the variables. For example, in the previous slide, so if our optimization parameter is delta, then in this equation, how many variables we are using? ये डेल्टा का जो फॉर्मूला है, ये डेल्टा के फॉर्मूले में हम कितने वेरिएबल्स यूज कर रहे हैं? हम एक डेल्टा यूज कर रहे हैं, हम कैपिटल W यूज कर रहे हैं, हम L यूज कर रहे हैं, E यूज कर रहे हैं, I यूज कर रहे हैं. So all these variables are to be categorized into these 5 categories in the final formulation, and these categories are functional variables, constraint variables, free variables, optimization variable, and material constant. Now we will see these variables one by one. So first is functional variable. So functional variables are those variables in which the values of the variables are given in the problem. So whenever a problem comes to you, the problem comes with values of certain variables. So all the variables whose values are given in the problem, they are straight away termed as functional variables. Okay. So very simple definition. Functional variables are those variables whose values are given in the problem. Clear है? ये होगी first category. Now the next category is constraint variables. Constraint variables are also very simple to recognize or identify from the PD, SD, and LE. And how? The variables on which constraints are imposed in the problem are called constraint variables. So any variable on which the constraints are imposed, limits are imposed, such variables are termed as constraint variables. Okay. So second type of variable is very easy to identify. So variables on which constraints are imposed, variables on which limits are imposed, such variables are categorized as constraint variables. Then the third category is free variables, or rather we'll take the free variables in the last. Next we'll take the optimization variable. Optimization variable is also very easy to identify from SD, PD, and LE. Optimization variable is the variable which we intend to optimize. For example, we are solving the problem for least deflection, then the deflection delta will be your optimizing variable. Then the material constants. Next variables are, they are not variables, they are the constants. So material constants, for example, in the formula delta is equal to WL cube upon 48 EI. So in that formula, the capital E, that is Young's modulus. So Young's modulus is the property of a material, whereas the other symbols that we are using in that formula are not material constant. There is only one material constant in that formula, that is capital E. So that capital E will be termed as material constant. Okay. So again, very easy to identify. So in this way, we have identified the 4 variables. Functional variables means the variables whose values are given in the problem are termed as functional variables. Constraint variables are those variables on which the limits or constraints are imposed. Then optimizing variable is the variable which we intend to optimize. Material constants are the constants of material, and all the other variables which are not categorized in the above 4 variables will go into the free variables category. Okay. So all the remaining variables which are neither functional variable nor constraint variable nor optimizing variable and nor material constants will go into the last category, that is free variables. Okay. So in this way, in the final formulation stage, all the variables are categorized into 5 categories. Now we move on to the next slide. Next is type of optimization problem. So in the previous step, we have categorized the variables into 5 categories, that is functional variable, free variable, constraint variable, optimizing parameter, and material constant. Now, by seeing the number of variables in each category, you can define the type of optimization problem. So next step is to define the optimization problem. So there are various types of optimization problem. So your problem falls in which category, that you need to define in this stage. Okay. So from the number of free variables and number of subsidiary design equation, it is possible to check whether the optimization problem is normal specification problem or redundant specification problem or incompatible specification problem. So there are 3 types of optimization problem: normal specification problem, redundant specification problem, and incompatible specification problem. So by seeing the number of variables, or rather by seeing the number of free variables, you can categorize your problem into these 3 categories: normal specification, redundant specification, or incompatible specification. So how you identify which type of problem you are solving? It is by seeing the number of free variables. How? First we'll see normal specification problem. How to identify the problem is of normal specification. So very easy to identify. How? If the number of free variables is greater than or equal to number of subsidiary design equations, then the problem is classified as normal specification problem. So if number of free variables are greater than or equal to number of SDs, that is subsidiary design equation, such type of problems are categorized as normal specification problem. For example, your number of free variables in the number of free variables are 4, and number of subsidiary design equations, means the equations which require in support to the primary design equations, are also 4. So that is a case of normal specification. So if number of free variables are greater than or equal to number of SDs, then such optimization problems are called normal specification problem. Now next is redundant specification problem. So if the number of free variables is less than the number of SDs, then the problem is classified as a redundant specification problem. So number of free variables are less than number of subsidiary design equations. So that is case of redundant specification problem. Okay. So I will elaborate these uh, classification while solving the problem. Okay. And the third category is incompatible specification problem. Incompatible specification problem uh, is just an extension of redundant specification problem. It is a special case of redundant specification problem. Generally, the design solution for such a problem is not available, but the solution can be obtained by assuming certain conditions. Okay. So actually, the solution of incompatible specification problem doesn't exist. You need to do a lot of assumptions, and you need to solve the optimization problem. Okay. Its solution is very difficult to achieve, and that is why it is called as incompatible specification problem, because the number of free variables are less than, very less than number of SDs. So such problems are very difficult to solve, and that is why it is called incompatible specification problem. As far as your syllabus is concerned, we are mostly dealing with normal specification problem and redundant specification problem. So you don't bother much about the incompatible specification problem. We can concentrate on normal specification and redundant specification problem. And in the presentation also, I'll be solving two types of problems. One is on normal specification and another one is a redundant specification. Incompatible specification problems are very higher level optimization problems, which are generally solved by using high-end softwares or some very complex algorithm, and lot of assumptions are required. A lot of experiential data is required, experiential skill is required to optimize it. So that is why you just don't bother about the incompatible specification. We will focus our discussion on the normal specification and the redundant specification problem only. Okay. Now once your optimization problem is categorized, then the last step of the final formulation is all the equations considered in initial formulation are merged together to get the primary design equation, and the primary design equation can be solved for various available materials which satisfy the optimization parameter of the design. So the last step of final formulation is to consider all the equations of PDs and SDs that we use in initial formulation and check the material for the different options available. Okay. For example, if you are intended to reduce the weight of a component, then in the final formulation we will check the weight for various materials. Okay, whatever the materials are available, we will check which material will give the least cost, least weight. So these are the theory. This is the theory behind the optimization technique, optimization method. Okay. So if you have any doubt about the theoretical part of the optimization, then you can just unmute yourself and ask. Okay. So are you comfortable with the theoretical part? Okay. So I am not able to see your chat box. So Charlie sir, I request if there is any question in the chat box, you just let me know.
Yes, surely.
Yeah.
Students are saying that this theory part is okay and understood.
Okay. So that is a good thing. if you understand the theoretical part, then while solving the problem, your concepts will get clear in a better manner. Okay, so to help you in understanding these concepts in a better manner, we'll take one problem. And first we'll take the normal specification problem, because it is very important to know how the problem is categorized into normal specification and redundant specification. So that is why uh, first I will take the normal specification problem, and then I will take the redundant specification problem. Redundant specification problem is considered to be a more complex as compared to normal specification. Okay, so that is why we will solve normal specification problem first, which is quite simpler or a bit simpler as compared to the redundant specification problem. And then we increase the complexity, and then we will solve the redundant specification problem. Okay, so this is the normal specification problem statement. A simply supported beam. So a beam is there which is simply supported, having length 90 centimeter. So the length of the beam is given 90 centimeter, is subjected to a concentrated load of W at the center. Okay, so a simply supported beam is there, and a concentrated weight or a point load, you can say, is acting at the center. The magnitude of the load is given as 8 kilonewton. For required factor of safety of 1.65. Okay, so factor of safety is also given, that is 1.65. Design the beam for minimum deflection. Okay, so here you can see that the optimizing uh, the objective of optimization is to minimize the deflection. So you can see that the problem is of minimum deflection problem. And available materials for check is SAE 2320 annealed, SAE 3240 not treated, SAE 3220 drawn at 700 degrees Celsius, yellow brass casted, and monel metal casting. Okay, so these are the 5 materials which are available, and out of these 5 material, your objective is to find out the minimum deflection, which material is giving you the minimum deflection if the beam is simply supported with load acting at the center. Okay, now one thing I would like to share with you, that during the examination you need to carry the design data book. Okay, optimization problem solving requires design data book, and um, the carrying design data book is completely allowable. Okay, so you can carry the design data book with you, because many of the material constants, uh, for taking the material constants, we need to refer the design data book. Okay, and I think most of the students are using the BD Shivalkar design data book only. So that is a problem. Now we move on to the solution. So first we'll see the given data. So given data is capital W 8 kilonewton. So 8 kilonewton point load is acting at the center. The length of the beam is 90 centimeter, factor of safety 1.65. So these many variables, or these many data is given in the problem. And the objective of the optimization is minimum deflection. So our first step says initial formulation. So initial formulation is nothing but giving the design equations, that is primary design equation, subsidiary design equation, and limiting equations. Okay. So first we define the primary design equation. As the objective of the optimization is minimum deflection, So our primary design equation will be the equation of the deflection. So here the primary design equation will be delta is equal to WL cube upon 48 EI. You can refer the design data book where the deflection formula for simply supported beam with load acting at the center is given as WL cube upon 48 EI, where delta is deflection in the beam, W is the weight acting on the beam, L is the length of the beam, E is Young's modulus, I is moment of inertia. Okay, so this equation is our primary design equation. Very simple. Okay, now we define the subsidiary design equation. Okay, so subsidiary design equations are nothing but the equations which require in support to the primary design equation. So there are four subsidiary design equations which are related to, or which are required by the deflection, and that is the bending stress, bending moment, section modulus, and moment of inertia. Okay, so these are the four equations, these are the four SDs which always be there whenever there is a problem of deflection in the beam. Okay, so first is bending stress sigma B, that is equal to m by z, where m is the moment, z is section modulus. Then m is defined as WL by 4. Then z, that is section modulus, is defined by pi by 32 d cube, and the moment of inertia is defined as pi by 64 d to the power 4. So bending stress, bending moment, section modulus, and moment of inertia, these are the four equations which you require in the deflection optimization problem always. Okay, so this you can memorize if you are not getting the logic how these subsidiary design equations are related to the deflection, then you can simply memorize it that अगर deflection का problem आया तो ये चार जो है ये SDs रहेंगे. Okay, जैसा bending stress, bending moment, section modulus, and moment of inertia. Now limiting equation, the third design equation that we need to define in the initial formulation is limiting equation. So there is no limit imposed on any of the parameter in the problem. Okay, so problem statement or problem definition doesn't give or doesn't provide any constraint on any of the parameter or any of the dimension of the beam. So what will be the limiting equation? So there is one universal limit which will always be there whenever you are designing a beam, that is the yield strength, or sorry, the bending stress will always be less than the yield strength of the material divided by the factor of safety. Okay, so this is the universal limit which all the design engineers will follow. That is कि जो बीम का जो बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस रहेगा, बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस ये यील्ड स्ट्रेंथ डिवाइड बाय फैक्टर ऑफ सेफ्टी से कम रहना चाहिए. दिस इज द यूनिवर्सल ट्रूथ, universal law you can say, or universal limit which will always be there. No design engineer will allow the bending stress is greater than the yield strength of a material divided by factor of safety. Okay, so if no limit or no constraint is imposed on any of the parameter in the problem, then you will write down this universal limit in the problem, that is bending stress is less than or equal to yield strength divided by factor of safety. Okay, so in this way we have defined primary design equation, subsidiary design equation, and limiting equation of the problem. So our initial formulation is over. Now we move on to the final formulation, and in the final formulation we need to categorize the variables into functional variables, constraint variables, free variables, optimizing variable, and material constant. Okay. Now, first let us begin with optimization variable. Now, can anybody tell which is the optimization variable in these equations? So, whatever the parameters that we are using in PD, SD, and LE, which parameter or which variable is optimizing variable? Yes, anybody? कौन सा रहेगा ऑप्टिमाइजिंग वेरिएबल? कौन सा रहेगा?
Some people are saying stress.
Stress. Okay. Stress. What is optimizing variable first? So optimizing variable is the variable which we intend to optimize. And if you see the problem statement, then the optimizing variable is the deflection. We are intended to optimize the deflection of a beam. So deflection delta will be your optimizing variable here. Okay, डेल्टा विल बी योर ऑप्टिमाइज. स्ट्रेस नहीं होगा. तो बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस जो है, बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस नहीं होगा. बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस कौन से कैटेगरी में जाएगा वो अपन बाद में देखेंगे. बट हमें क्या ऑप्टिमाइज करना है? हमको डिफ्लेक्शन ऑप्टिमाइज करना है. तो इसलिए जो डेल्टा है, डिफ्लेक्शन जो है, दैट विल बी आवर ऑप्टिमाइजिंग वेरिएबल. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज फंक्शनल वेरिएबल. नाउ what is functional variables? Functional variables are those variables whose values are given in the problem. Now we go back to the problem. So which variable whose values are given in the problem? So there are three variables whose values are given. One is weight or the point load, you can say. Then the length of the beam, capital L, and factor of safety, that is capital N. So these three values are given in the problem. That is why these three parameters or these three variables will go into the functional variable category. So here you can see that in the functional variable category there are three variables, W, L, and N. So the variables whose values are given in the problem, straight away they will go into the functional variable category. Now next is constraint variable. So constraint variable, as I said, the variables on which limits are imposed. And here we can see that in the initial formulation, कौन सा इक्वेशन है जिसमें लेस देन और इक्वल टू साइन है? लेस देन ग्रेटर देन साइन वाला इक्वेशन कौन सा है? वो है सिग्मा बी शुड बी लेस देन सिग्मा वाई अपॉन एन. ओके, सो हियर the constraint variable is the left hand variable in the limiting equation. Okay, तो यहाँ पे constraint किस पे imposed है? बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस पे. क्योंकि बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस कोई भी हालत में ये यील्ड स्ट्रेंथ अपॉन फैक्टर ऑफ सेफ्टी से ज्यादा नहीं रहना चाहिए. ओके, तो इसलिए जो कंस्ट्रेंट वेरिएबल रहेगा वो कौन सा रहेगा? सिग्मा बी रहेगा. And the last one is free variables. So all the variables which are yet to be categorized in the above four category will go into the free variable category. Okay, the variables which are neither optimizing variable nor material constants nor functional variables nor constraint variables, such variables will go into the category of free variables. Okay, तो अभी हमने जितने भी वेरिएबल्स यूज किए हैं पीडी, एसडी और एलीज में, इसमें से जैसे डेल्टा ऑप्टिमाइजिंग वेरिएबल हो गया, डब्ल्यू एल ये जो है फंक्शनल वेरिएबल है, ई जो है कैपिटल ई ये मटेरियल कांस्टेंट है. ओके, आई जो है अभी तक किसी कैटेगरी में गया नहीं है, तो आई जाएगा फ्री वेरिएबल कैटेगरी में। फिर एस डी में सिग्मा बी जो है वो कंस्ट्रेंट वेरिएबल में गया। कैपिटल एम, कैपिटल जेड, ये अभी कहीं नहीं गया है, तो वो फ्री वेरिएबल कैटेगरी में जाएगा। ओके, फिर उसके बाद एम इक्वल टू डब्ल्यू एल, सो डब्ल्यू एल फंक्शनल वेरिएबल्स हो गया, जेड फ्री वेरिएबल में गया। Then D, small d is also not in any of the above category, so D will also go into the free variable category. So all the variables which are not gone into the above four category will go into the free category. So free variables are capital M, Z, I and D. तो यहाँ पे ये चार फ्री वेरिएबल्स है, M, Z, I and D. Okay. So in this way, we have categorized all the variables into functional variables, constraint variables, optimizing variable, material constant, and the remaining will go into the free variable category. So once this step is over, now you are in a position to categorize the problem into normal specification, redundant specification, problems. Okay, so we will be dealing with only two types, that is normal specification and redundant specification. तो इसके बाद अभी now you are in a position to categorize the problem into normal or redundant specification. So first we'll see what is normal specification problem. Normal specification problems are those problems when number of free variables are greater than or equal to number of SDs. Such problems are normal specification problems. Okay, यानी नंबर ऑफ फ्री वेरिएबल ये नंबर ऑफ एस डी से ज़्यादा है, ये इक्वल है या उससे ज़्यादा है, ऐसे प्रॉब्लम्स जो है वो नॉर्मल स्पेसिफिकेशन कैटेगरी में जाएंगे। और नंबर ऑफ फ्री वेरिएबल्स अगर नंबर ऑफ एस डी से कम है, then such problems are categorized into redundant specification category. अब यहाँ पे देखते हैं कि नंबर ऑफ फ्री वेरिएबल्स कितने हैं। तो नंबर ऑफ फ्री वेरिएबल्स है यहाँ पे 4। नंबर ऑफ एस कितना है, नंबर ऑफ सब्सिडरी डिजाइन इक्वेशन, so number of subsidiary design equation are also 4. That means this condition is satisfied, that is number of free variables are greater than or equal to SD, and that is why this problem is of normal specification problem. Okay, had it been a case where number of free variables are less than 4, such problems will be redundant specification problem. Okay, but if the number of free variables are equal to or greater than number of SDs, then such problems are normal specification problem. Okay, so I hope that you have understood how to categorize a problem into normal specification and redundant specification problems by seeing the number of free variables and number of SDs. Okay, clear है? Yes. Now we move on to the final formulation. So final formulation says that you merge all the SDs with the PDs. Okay, सारे सब्सिडी डिजाइन इक्वेशंस को मर्ज करके उसको पीडी में डालना। ओके, सो सबसे पहले हम क्या करेंगे कि इन द इनिशियल फॉर्मुलेशन यहाँ पे हमारे पास दो इक्वेशंस है, जिसमें कि बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस इज इक्वल टू कैपिटल M by Z एंड बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस इज लेस देन और इक्वल टू यील्ड स्ट्रेंथ अपॉन फैक्टर ऑफ सेफ्टी। तो बेंडिंग स्ट्रेंथ का या बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस के दो फॉर्मूले हैं। सो बी क्या, सिग्मा बी इज इक्वल टू M by Z एंड सिग्मा बी इज इक्वल टू सिग्मा Y अपॉन N। तो हम क्या करेंगे, इन दोनों को पहले मर्ज कर देते हैं। ओके, we know that sigma b is equal to sigma y upon n and sigma b is equal to M by Z. So what we'll do, we'll equate the right hand side of both the sigma b. So that is, वो फिर क्या बनेगा, sigma y upon n is equal to M by Z. Now put the values of m. M is bending moment, bending moment is given by WL by 4. So we will take the value of capital M, put it in the equation. Then capital Z क्या है, पाई बाय 32 डी क्यूब, वो भी वैल्यू ये इक्वेशन में डाला और इसको सॉल्व किया, यानी उसको थोड़ा रीअरेंज किया. देन वी गेट दैट कि diameter of the beam, diameter here we are taking the circular cross section. Okay, so diameter of the beam का फॉर्मूला क्या बनता है, इसको रीअरेंज किया सारे वेरिएबल्स को, तो सो डायमीटर ऑफ द बीम इज इक्वल टू 32 WLN अपॉन 4 पाई इंटू सिग्मा वाई टू द पावर 1/3. Okay, so this is the relation of the diameter that we obtained by merging the equations. Okay, so bending stress के दोनों जो रिलेशंस है उसको इक्वेट किया और डायमीटर का ये रिलेशन फाइंड आउट किया, उसको एक इक्वेशन नंबर ए दिया है. अब लेते हैं पीडीई में. तो एसडीई को हमने मर्ज किया, एसडीई को मर्ज करके एसडी और लिमिटिंग इक्वेशंस, एसडी और एलीज, इसको मर्ज किया. अब ये मर्ज करने के बाद इसको कहाँ डालते हैं, पीडीई में डालते हैं. ठीक है, तो सब्सिडी डिजाइन इक्वेशन और लिमिटिंग इक्वेशन इसको मर्ज करते हैं और फिर वो रिलेशन जो है वो डालते हैं एसडीई में, सॉरी पीडीई में. अब जो पीडीई है, डेल्टा इज इक्वल टू 64 WL क्यूब अपॉन 48 EI. ओके, अब इसमें हमने क्या किया, सॉरी डेल्टा इज इक्वल टू WL क्यूब अपॉन 48 EI. अब इसमें I जो है, I इज वॉट, पाई बाय 64 d टू द पावर 4. ये वैल्यू इसमें डालते हैं तो ये बनता है 64 WL क्यूब अपॉन 48 पाई E इंटू डी टू द पावर 4. नाउ पुट द वैल्यू ऑफ इक्वेशन ए, जहाँ पे हमने डायमीटर का इक्वेशन डिराइव करके रखा है, वो डायमीटर का इक्वेशन इसमें पुट करते हैं तो ये ऐसा एक इक्वेशन बनता है. अब इसको क्या करेंगे हम, यहाँ पे मटेरियल कांस्टेंट जो है वो छोड़ के बाकी जितने भी वैल्यूज़ प्रॉब्लम में दिए हैं वो प्रॉब्लम के वैल्यूज़ इसमें एंटर करेंगे. जैसे W का वैल्यू दिया है, L का वैल्यू दिया है 90 सेंटीमीटर, W का वैल्यू 8 किलो न्यूटन दिया है, देन फैक्टर ऑफ सेफ्टी 1.65 दिया है. ये सारे वैल्यूज़ इसमें एंटर करते हैं और यहाँ पे हम ये रिलेशन फाइंड आउट करते हैं बिटवीन द ऑप्टिमाइजिंग पैरामीटर एंड द मटेरियल कांस्टेंट. ओके, सो दिस रिलेशन says delta minimum deflection is equal to 287.23 in bracket sigma y to the power 4/3 upon E. Now we know that sigma y, that is yield strength, and Young's modulus, these are material constants. Okay, so we have developed the relation between the optimizing variable and the material constant by putting all the values of the functional variables. अब ये एक रिलेशन मिल गया, तो यहाँ पे लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में क्या है, ऑप्टिमाइजिंग पैरामीटर है, राइट हैंड साइड में क्या है, मटेरियल कांस्टेंट है. अब जो भी मटेरियल सिग्मा y टू द पावर 4/3 अपॉन E का वैल्यू सबसे कम देगा, वो मटेरियल का डिफ्लेक्शन सबसे कम रहेगा. ओके, हम ये बोल सकते हैं कि जो भी मटेरियल का वैल्यू, ये सिग्मा y टू द पावर 4/3 अपॉन E, ये वाले एक्सप्रेशन का आंसर जो मटेरियल का सबसे कम रहेगा वही मटेरियल सबसे कम डिफ्लेक्शन देगा, क्योंकि वो डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल है. ओके, डेल्टा मिनिमम डिफ्लेक्शन इज डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू सिग्मा y टू द पावर 4/3 अपॉन E. सो नाउ द एंटायर optimization lies with the factor sigma y to the power 4/3 upon E. So whichever the material which will give the least value of sigma y to the power 4 by 3 upon E will give the least deflection in the beam. And that is why this sigma y to the power 4 by 3 upon E is called material selection factor, because this is the factor whose value will decide कि कौन सा मटेरियल का डिफ्लेक्शन कम रहेगा. ओके, इसलिए हम सिग्मा वाई टू द पावर 4 बाय 3 अपॉन ई को क्या बोलते हैं? मटेरियल सिलेक्शन फैक्टर. So using this material selection factor, a single material will be selected which will have the least value of the material selection factor. So whichever the material which will give the least value of this material selection factor will give the least deflection in the beam. As simple as that. Okay. Now we will plot one table in which we place all the materials which were there in the problem, that is SAE 2320 annealed, SAE 3240 not treated, SAE 3220 drawn at 700 degree Celsius, yellow brass and monel metal. ये सारे टेबल में लिखते हैं. Then we take the values of yield strength of these material and put it in the second column. Then we take all the Young's modulus of these materials and put it in the third column. Then we calculate the material selection factor MSF, जो material selection factor है, जो कि है sigma y to the power 4 by 3 upon E. इसका वैल्यू हम कैलकुलेट करते हैं और डिफ्लेक्शन, फिर MSF से डिफ्लेक्शन फाइंड आउट करते हैं. उसको अगर 287.23 से मल्टीप्लाई किया, MSF को 287.23 से मल्टीप्लाई किया तो आपको डिफ्लेक्शन मिलता है mm में. तो ये डिफ्लेक्शन आपने फाइंड आउट किया. अब ये जो है ये 5 मटेरियल है और ये 5 मटेरियल की ये 5 डिफ्लेक्शन है. तो इसमें से सबसे कम डिफ्लेक्शन कौन सा मटेरियल दे रहा है? तो आप अगर देखोगे तो येलो ब्रास जो मटेरियल है ये सबसे कम डिफ्लेक्शन दे रहा है. ओके, बिकॉज इट्स मटेरियल सिलेक्शन फैक्टर इज द लीस्ट among all the other materials. Okay, so the deflection that we are obtaining by using a yellow brass is 0.8114, whereas the other materials are giving the deflection more than this value, and that is why we'll select yellow brass as the optimized material for your design. Okay, and once your material is finalized, then you can put the constant values of this material in the diameter formula. So here we have already derived the diameter formula in equation number A, that is 32 WLN upon 4 pi sigma y to the power 1 by 3. इसमें सारे वैल्यूज हम डालते हैं तो आपको वो जो बीम हमने सिलेक्ट किया है येलो ब्रास का, उसका डायमीटर क्या रहेगा, वो डायमीटर जो है ये हम सिलेक्ट करते हैं. सो दिस इज द वे how a normal specification problem can be solved. So if you have any doubt in normal specification problem, you can just unmute yourself or you can put your query in the chat box. Charlie sir, kindly let me know the query of the student. Otherwise we can move to the redundant specification problem.
Yes, sure. Anybody is having query can write here. Okay, Yash Dhabade is asking how to merge the equation.
Okay, how to merge the equations? Here first you merge the SDs and LEs together, and once you are ready with SDs and LEs, then you merge it with the PD. अब यहाँ पे merge करने के लिए यहाँ पे देखो कि सिग्मा बी के दो इक्वेशंस है. एक एसडी में है सिग्मा बी इक्वल टू एम बाई जेड, और दूसरा एक इक्वेशन है लिमिटिंग इक्वेशन सिग्मा बी एक्चुअली लेस देन है, बट वी कंसीडर इट एज इक्वल टू सिग्मा वाई अपॉन एन. सो दोनों के लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में सिग्मा बी है, तो हम क्या करेंगे, राइट हैंड साइड उसको इक्वेट कर देंगे। इक्वेट करने के बाद क्या करेंगे, उसमें जितने भी वेरिएबल्स है वो वेरिएबल्स के फॉर्मूले अगर एसडी में अवेलेबल है तो वो डाल देंगे। जैसे बेंडिंग मोमेंट का वैल्यू दिया है, ओके, तो यहाँ पे हमने क्या किया, सिग्मा वाई अपॉन एन इक्वेट किया एम बाय जेड से, क्योंकि दोनों के लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में क्या था, सिग्मा भी था, तो हम दोनों को इक्वेट कर दिया। अब इक्वेट करने के बाद वहाँ पे हम एम का वैल्यू, जो जो वैल्यू अवेलेबल है, एम का फॉर्मूला अवेलेबल है, जेड का फॉर्मूला अवेलेबल है, तो वैल्यूज़ वहाँ पे डाल दिया। वो वैल्यूज़ डालने के बाद डायमीटर जो है डी, डायमीटर जो फ्री वेरिएबल है वो फ्री वेरिएबल को इक्वल टू के लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में रखा, और फंक्शनल वेरिएबल्स और मटेरियल कांस्टेंट्स इसको राइट हैंड साइड में रखा, ओके। और इसको एक इक्वेशन दे दिया, ये अभी फिलहाल ये इक्वेशन ए है। अब लिया पी डी, क्योंकि हमने एस डी सारे मर्ज कर दिए, एस डी और एल ई मर्ज कर दिए। अभी हम लेते हैं प्राइमरी डिजाइन इक्वेशन। सो ऑलवेज स्टार्ट द मर्जिंग फ्रॉम एस डीज एंड एल ईज, you merge it together and then you go for the PD। अब ये जो एस डी और एल ई को मर्ज करने के बाद जो डायमीटर का जो रिलेशन निकला है उसको हमको अभी डालना है पीडी में, उसको डालना है हमको पीडी में। तो पीडी का फॉर्मूला लिया हमने। सो पीडी में क्या है, डब्ल्यू है, एल है, ये फंक्शनल वेरिएबल्स है, देन ई है, आई है। आई का फॉर्मूला हमको एस डी में दिया हुआ है, तो आई का फॉर्मूला पहले डाल दिया, पाई बाय 64 डी टू द पावर 4। अब यहाँ पे डी आया है, डी का ऑलरेडी हमने मर्ज करके रखा है, तो वो डायरेक्टली इसमें डी डी डाल दिया। और डी का वैल्यू डालने के बाद अभी ये जो इक्वेशन आएगा उसमें उसमें जो है कोई भी फ्री वेरिएबल नहीं रहा, सारे फ्री वेरिएबल जो है वो एलिमिनेट हो गए। अभी उसमें एक तो फंक्शनल वेरिएबल है, या तो ऑप्टिमाइजिंग वेरिएबल है, या फिर मटेरियल कांस्टेंट है। इसके अलावा देर इज नो फ्री वेरिएबल, देर इज नो कंस्ट्रेंट वेरिएबल, सिर्फ उसमें ऑप्टिमाइजिंग वेरिएबल है, फंक्शनल वेरिएबल है, और तुम्हारा मटेरियल कांस्टेंट है, ओके। तो अब यहाँ पे क्या करना, ऑप्टिमाइजिंग पैरामीटर का मटेरियल कांस्टेंट के साथ रिलेशन निकालना, फंक्शनल वेरिएबल के सारे वैल्यूज उसमें पुट कर देना, ओके। So in this way, these equations are merged. The more you practice, the more concepts will get clear. Okay, तो सबसे पहले क्या करना है, एस डीज और एलीज को मर्ज करना है, और फिर उसके बाद प्राइमरी डिज़ाइन इक्वेशंस पे जाना है। तो प्राइमरी डिज़ाइन इक्वेशन को मर्ज करने के बाद आपको पता चलेगा कि सारे कंस्ट्रेंट वेरिएबल्स और सारे फ्री वेरिएबल्स उसमें से निकल गए, उसमें सिर्फ बचा है फंक्शनल वेरिएबल्स, ऑप्टिमाइजिंग वेरिएबल और मटेरियल कांस्टेंट्स, इतना ही। तो फिर ऑप्टिमाइजिंग वेरिएबल और मटेरियल कांस्टेंट इनका रिलेशन इस्टेब्लिश करना, क्योंकि फंक्शनल वेरिएबल के वैल्यूज़ तो हमको पता है, वो वैल्यूज़ तो प्रॉब्लम में दी है, वो वैल्यूज़ उसमें डाल देना, ओके। Any other query?
No, sir.
Okay. So now we move on to redundant specification problem. So we have solved one normal specification problem. Now we will solve redundant specification problem. We know how to check whether this problem is redundant specification or not. How? We know that number of free variables, when number of free variables are less than number of SDs, then such problems are redundant specification problem. Okay. Now we'll take one example and then we'll see. So a cantilever beam is there. So in the previous previous problem, there was simply supported beam, but this time it is a cantilever beam. Okay. So So a cantilever beam is there where the point load is acting at the end of the free end of the cantilever beam. The weight or the load capital W is given as 6000 Newton. Factor of safety is given 1.65. Length of the bar is given as 850 mm. Now see the statement. Diameter of the bar should lie between 15 mm and 100 mm. Okay, this is a very important statement. So this cantilever beam is circular cross section and प्रॉब्लम बोल रहा है कि जो डायमीटर है बीम का वो डायमीटर जो है 15 mm से 100 mm के बीच में रहना चाहिए. It should not be less than 15 mm and it should not be more than 100 mm. So this is kind of a limits are imposed on the diameter. So the minimum limit for the diameter is 15 mm. It should not be less than 15, and the maximum limit of the diameter is 100 mm and it should not be more than 100. So this is the statement. Design the bar for minimum deflection. Okay, again the problem is of minimum deflection only. We need to optimize the deflection. We need to select the material which will give the least deflection out of the available material. The available materials are SAE 1010, SAE 1020, SAE 1040, SAE 2320 and wrought iron. So these are the 5 materials which the problem states, and we need to check which material will give least deflection and maintaining the diameter of the bar between 15 mm to 100 mm. Okay, I hope that you have understood the problem. Now we move on to the initial formulation. So initial formulation में क्या है? Primary design equation define करना है. So we know that the deflection formula for cantilever beam where the load is acting at the end of the beam is given by WL cube upon 3EI. Okay, you can refer the design data book for this formula. And as I said earlier also, whenever there is a problem of deflection, the number of SDs will be bending stress, section modulus, moment, bending moment and मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया. तो ये 4 जो है ये एसडीज रहेंगे डिफ्लेक्शन के लिए. जो सपोर्टिंग इक्वेशंस लगते हैं वो यही 4 है: बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस, सेक्शन मॉडुलस, मोमेंट ऑफ inertia and bending moment. And the limiting equation. Now one universal limiting equation will always be there, that is bending stress should be less than the yield strength अपॉन फैक्टर ऑफ सेफ्टी. ये यूनिवर्सल लिमिट है, ये हमेशा रहेगा, प्रॉब्लम में दिया हो या ना दिया हो. ये जो है ये हर डिज़ाइनर को ये फॉलो करना ही पड़ता है. ये लिमिट यूनिवर्सल लिमिट है. ये बोलता है, जैसा बोलते हैं ना, अनरिटन लॉ है ये. ओके, तो प्रॉब्लम में लिखा भी नहीं है तो भी लिमिटिंग इक्वेशन ये रहेगा ही. ओके, सिग्मा बी शुड बी लेस देन सिग्मा वाई अपॉन एन. तो ये तो पहला लिमिटिंग इक्वेशन हो गया. इसके अलावा प्रॉब्लम में एक और लिमिट दिया है, वो है डायमीटर. ओके, सो 15 mm should be less than equal to D should be less than equal to 100 mm. So this is the second limiting equation. So here in this way we have defined the primary design equation, subsidiary design equation and limiting equation. Okay. Now next thing is to categorize these variables in functional variable category, constraint variable category and free variable category, apart from the object optimizing variable and the material constants. So functional variables are the variables whose values are given in the problem. So problem में values दिया है, capital W की दिया है 6000 Newton, factor of safety दिया है some 1.65 or something, yes 1.65, and the length of the beam is given as 850 mm. Okay, so these three values are given in the problem. डायमीटर का वैल्यू नहीं दिया है एक्चुअली, डायमीटर पे लिमिट्स डाला है, तो डी जो है वो फंक्शनल वेरिएबल कैटेगरी में नहीं जाएगा, वो कंस्ट्रेंट वेरिएबल की कैटेगरी में जाएगा। अब कंस्ट्रेंट वेरिएबल्स में लिमिटिंग इक्वेशन दो है, ओके। So limits are imposed on bending stress and the diameter. So that is why there will be two constraint variables, sigma b and small d, and all the variables which are neither optimizing variable nor material constants nor functional nor constraint will go into the free variable category. तो अभी बचा सिर्फ a, that is cross sectional area, m and I, ओके। सॉरी, ये z होना चाहिए। फ्री वेरिएबल में फर्स्ट वैल्यू इज कैपिटल Z, देन मोमेंट, बेंडिंग मोमेंट एंड I, ओके। सो देर इज वन प्रिंटिंग मिस्टेक। So first free variable is capital Z, second is capital M, and third one is moment of inertia. Now if you see that the number of free variables are 3, number of SDs are 4, that means number of free variables are less than number of SDs. So we can say that this problem is of redundant specification, because number of free variables, whenever number of free variables are less than number of SDs, such problems are redundant specification problem. Now we move on to the final formulation. Now the final formulation of redundant specification requires some steps, okay. So final formulation is carried out in two steps, okay. So in the first step, the eliminated variable and related variables are identified from the constant variables, okay. The related variables related with the optimizing variable and eliminated variables are related with the related variables. In the first step, the relation between the eliminated variable and related variable is established. From this relation, the related variable is tested for constraint imposed on it, and accordingly all the materials are tested, okay. So these are some of the theory. We will directly apply it instead of learning or remembering the theoretical part. We'll directly see what the first step of final formulation is. So in the first step, in this problem, the first step can be written as out of the two constraint variables. Constraint variable कौन सा दिया है हमको? एक बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस है। ये जो कंस्ट्रेंट वेरिएबल कौन से है? बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस है और डी है। इसमें से एक जो है वो रिलेटेड वेरिएबल है और एक एलिमिनेटेड वेरिएबल है। तो मटेरियल कांस्टेंट जो रहता है, जो भी कंस्ट्रेंट वेरिएबल में मटेरियल कांस्टेंट जो रहता है वो हमेशा हमेशा एलिमिनेटेड वेरिएबल रहता है, और जो मटेरियल कांस्टेंट नहीं है ऐसे वेरिएबल को हम बोलते हैं रिलेटेड वेरिएबल, ठीक है, सिंपल है। जो कंस्ट्रेंट वेरिएबल्स दिए हैं रिडंडेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन के फाइनल फॉर्मुलेशन में, सबसे पहले जो स्टेप है उसमें क्या करना है कि कंस्ट्रेंट वेरिएबल्स के जितने भी वेरिएबल्स है उसको एलिमिनेटेड वेरिएबल और रिलेटेड वेरिएबल कैटेगरी में डालना है। एलिमिनेटेड वेरिएबल की कैटेगरी में किसको डालना है? जो मटेरियल कांस्टेंट है, ओके। और रिलेटेड वेरिएबल की कैटेगरी में जो है वो उसमें क्या डालना है? जो दूसरा मटेरियल कांस्टेंट नहीं है। सो एलिमिनेटेड वेरिएबल की कैटेगरी में क्या आएगा? सिग्मा वाई एस आएगा, और रिलेटेड वेरिएबल की कैटेगरी में डी आएगा। एक्चुअली कंस्टेंट वेरिएबल में बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस है और डी है। So sigma ys is considered as eliminated variable and d is considered as related variable, because the stress is in general is considered as eliminated variable. Okay. Then we move on to the merging part. So here also bending stress is given by m by z एंड इट इज़ ऑल्सो गिवन बाय सिग्मा वाई एस अपॉन एन। तो हम दोनों को इक्वेट करते हैं। ये इक्वेट करने के बाद क्या हुआ कि इक्वेट करने के बाद हमको मिला, उसमें हमने कैपिटल एम और जेड का वैल्यूज़ डाल दिया। तो सिग्मा वाई एस अपॉन एन इज इक्वल टू 32 WL/4 D⁻³ और डी का रिलेशन निकाला। सो डी का रिलेशन जो है ये निकालने के बाद और फंक्शनल वेरिएबल्स की वैल्यूज़ इसमें ऐड करने के बाद 1/σ/ys 1/σ/ys⁻⁴ इसके प्रपोर्शन में है। ओके, उसमें डब्ल्यू एल और एन का वैल्यूज डालने के बाद डायमीटर इज डायरेक्टली इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल टू σ/ys⁻⁴ so all the materials which will be tested for design by substituting the value of bending stress and calculating the values of diameter of the cantilever। अब यहाँ पे हमको चेक करना है कि अलग अलग जो मटेरियल्स दिया है वो मटेरियल का यील्ड स्ट्रेंथ डालने के बाद कौन सा मटेरियल कितना डायमीटर देगा। ओके, तो अब सबसे इसमें दो टेबल आएंगे। यस, एनीबॉडी?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, यस, प्लीज आस्क योर क्वेश्चन।
No doubt, sir.
Okay. So in the first table, what we'll do, we try to calculate the diameters. We'll check the diameters by various materials available. Okay, we'll put the values of yield shear strength of the material and try to calculate the diameter. तो यहाँ पे जो yield shear strength है ये पांचों मटेरियल का वो यहाँ पे लिख लिया और ये वैल्यू जो है ये वाले इक्वेशन में डाल के हमने डायमीटर कैलकुलेट किया। अब डायमीटर जो है अलग अलग वैल्यूज़ आएगी। ओके, किसी का डायमीटर 40 आएगा, किसी का 50 आएगा, किसी का 12 आएगा, किसी का 120 आएगा। अब यहाँ पे जो डायमीटर का लिमिट दिया है वो सिर्फ 15 mm से लेके 100 mm तक ही है। तो इसमें 5 में से अगर फॉर एग्जांपल 3 मटेरियल का डायमीटर ये जो है ये जो जो लिमिट्स है उसके अंदर आता है, वही 3 मटेरियल जो है वो नेक्स्ट ऑप्टिमाइजेशन स्टेप में कैरी फॉरवर्ड होंगे। जिनका डायमीटर ये लिमिट के अंदर नहीं आता है वो यही स्टेज पे एलिमिनेट हो जाएंगे। ओके, तो यहाँ पे हमने डायमीटर कैलकुलेट किया। अभी यहाँ पे कैलकुलेशन किया नहीं है, वो आपके लिए है। तो यहाँ पे डायमीटर कैलकुलेट करने के बाद हमको पता चला फॉर एग्जांपल 3 मटेरियल का डायमीटर जो है ये गिवन रेंज के अंदर है और 2 मटेरियल का डायमीटर गिवन रेंज के बाहर है। तो हमने क्या किया, जिनका डायमीटर रेंज के बाहर आ रहा है वो मटेरियल यहाँ से एलिमिनेट कर दिया और जो मटेरियल का डायमीटर रेंज के अंदर आ रहा है उसको नेक्स्ट स्टेप के लिए कैरी फॉरवर्ड किया। तो नेक्स्ट स्टेप क्या है, नेक्स्ट स्टेप में हमको अभी पीडीई के साथ इसको मर्ज करना है। सो प्राइमरी डिजाइन इक्वेशन जो है, प्राइमरी डिजाइन इक्वेशन में हम अब ये वैल्यूज डालते हैं। तो यहाँ पे जो आई का वैल्यू है 1/64 D⁴ ये वाला वैल्यू यहाँ पे डालते हैं और उसके बाद फिर से हम ये चेक करते हैं क्योंकि डायमीटर हमने ऑलरेडी कैलकुलेट कर चुके हैं। ओके, तो यहाँ पे डेल्टा मिनिमम इज इक्वल टू 64 WL³/3πe × D⁴। अब यहाँ पे हमने हर मटेरियल के डायमीटर ऑलरेडी चेक किए है। अब ये प्रॉब्लम में हमको पता चल रहा है कि जैसे 5 में से 3 ही मटेरियल जो है वो नेक्स्ट स्टेज में कैरी फॉरवर्ड हो गए। तो हम यहाँ पे सिर्फ 3 ही मटेरियल लिखेंगे, 5 मटेरियल नहीं लिखेंगे। और फिर उसका यंग्स मॉडुलस का वैल्यू यहाँ पे लिखेंगे। डायमीटर का वैल्यू हमने ऑलरेडी कैलकुलेट कर चुके हैं और वो कैलकुलेशन से फिर हम उसका डिफ्लेक्शन निकालेंगे और जिसका डिफ्लेक्शन सबसे मिनिमम रहेगा वो वाला मटेरियल जो है वो यहाँ पे सिलेक्ट होगा. Okay, so in this redundant specification problem, there are two-way elimination. In the first elimination, we check the constraint imposed on diameter. So we'll check the diameter, whether the diameter of the materials are coming within the range or not. If they are falling in the range, then such materials will go into the next stage. Otherwise, they will eliminate here itself. And the material whose diameters are coming in the range, then we check the deflection of those material, and then out of those material, the material which will give the least deflection will be selected as an optimized material. Okay, so this is how this redundant specification problems are solved. So redundant specification, you can see that the complexity level is one step ahead. Okay. So that's it from my side. This optimization topic, I think you all are final year students, and you must be carrying out your final year project, and many of the final year project requires optimization. Okay, so particularly the projects which involves modification of the existing design, so such type of projects requires optimization. So I request all the students who are involved in such type of projects where you are doing some modification in the existing design, there you can apply the concepts of optimization to optimize the man machine material required for manufacturing of that component. Okay, so I wish all the best to all the students. If you have any query, then you can just let me know.
No query, sir.
Okay, yes. You can put your query in the chat box also. Yes, this lecture will be followed by a quiz